and I'm not playing party politics here. I mean, the entire political class in Britain is a waste of space. That's, the Labour Party, the Conservative Party, the Liberals, it's a disaster. I mean, I would add that I think Boris Johnson, I'd maintain that Boris Johnson was the worst Prime Minister in British history. I mean, his administration was a particular disgrace. And now we have a Labour government. I didn't have any high hopes for them. They're burning through the goodwill at an extraordinary rate. I've never seen a government lose popularity so quickly. There's a problem with the political class that actually being a politician, if you take the job seriously, is a very tough job. You get attacked all the time. Your family gets attacked all the time by the media. People try and kill you quite often. We've seen, MPs have been murdered, by either individual lunatics or, terrorist organisations. So although I sort of have a sort of general dislike and contempt for politicians, it's a very difficult job and it's an important job. And one of the things I think they should do is pay them more. I mean, this idea that if an MP has a salary which is more than 5 times that of a shop assistant, some crime is being committed, that it's a moral outrage, I think is just stupid. It's an extremely important job, and people should be well paid for it because it's difficult and dangerous and unpleasant, generally speaking. So I don't see anyone in the current parliament who either has the common sense. I mean, there's a complete absence of common sense. Just a sort of dissociation from reality that exists in Westminster. Or no, I don't see anyone with the common sense or the spine to do something. Because to actually change things, you have to be quite tough and bold. And they're all sort of little, wet blankets who, probably couldn't organise a barbecue in their back garden. I mean, there are some of the Reform MPs at least are saying some sensible things, but they're a long way from power. But they're capable, I think, of embarrassing the sort of establishment quite well. I mean, I think sometimes maybe it's because I'm getting old and getting grumpy that I find everything very unsatisfactory. But when I go back to London and I talk to people, different ages, different backgrounds, they all say the same thing: nothing works. I mean, it's largely lockdown. I think lockdown destroyed Britain. I would maintain, this is why I particularly hate Boris Johnson and his government. They destroyed the country with lockdown. I mean, fine, the Labour Party were saying, why are you doing this? It was a sort of consensus pretty much in the West. But, certainly in Britain, I mean, I don't know quite why, but Hungary seems to have got through that much better. I mean, maybe Brexit was also a factor in it, that, we were in transition. But just no one wants to work. Everyone wants to work from home. No one's very interested in doing their job. I mean, I can give you sort of endless examples of how the court system, if you're going to wait years for your case to get to court, if you've been raped or assaulted or something. And the national, I mean, I just don't see how even if we had someone very capable, how they could sort it out in the short term. It's a very, I mean, now I have enormous, affection for Britain because, there were, like when my parents arrived in '56, people were extremely kind and helpful. And I grew up there and I have strong affection for the country, but it's just a disaster area now. And, all sorts of small things, Hungary is ahead. I mean, to give you a couple of small examples, if a doctor in Hungary writes you a prescription, whether you're going to see them privately or on the state system, that prescription goes up to the cloud and you can go anywhere in Hungary to any pharmacy and get the prescription. I mean, the best, that I get now from my GP, when I manage to get through to them, of course, which is no easy job, is that it's sent to one local pharmacy, which fine, it's the local pharmacy, so not massively inconvenient, but it would be nice if I was sort of working in London or something, I could have the option of going to a pharmacy there and just picking it up. Similarly, they have a thing called the Korman Oblak, the government window, which are all over Budapest. And basically any sort of issue you have with tax or social security or whatever, you can go to the government window, as it's called, and they'll try and sort it out for you. And I've used them and they've been quite impressive so far. I mean, to compare it to Britain, I used to have a tax office in London. If I needed to sort something out, it would take me, I don't know, half an hour to get there. I'd probably have to wait 20 minutes, but then I would get to see someone face to face, 10 minutes to sort it out, to get a document stamped or whatever. So 2 hours, I could sort out a tax thing. Then they moved my tax office to somewhere outside of Liverpool. So you'd have to write to them. It would take, I don't know, 10 days or something to get a reply. Last time I needed something done by the tax office, it took them 5 months to reply. You know,
yeah, that's a
I'm not
difficult
alone in these experiences. So anyway, I really don't know how it can be sorted out. You know, more and more, a military dictatorship starting to look good. You know.